Maybe? Are we open? Why is my chat not working? Alright. Chat's up. Okay. 11 by 17. 17. I can do math. 5.5 by 8.5. I'm doing half. And then I'll double. I'll make it bigger. Make it bigger. Oh, this is the thing with Instagram, huh? Oh, god damn it, Instagram. Okay. So for it to show up on no. What? It's all the way over here. I'm sorry, Instagram people. Yo, what up, Chris? Sorry, you can't see my screen. I'm trying to, like, fucking fix this. But see, okay. This is... Go away. Go to Twitch. Okay. I forgot about this. Okay, so... Not everyone can see this, obviously. It's the orientation issue. Cool. See you on Twitch. Ugh. Okay, that's really frustrating. Super frustrating, y'all, but such is life. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Although, wait, I do need... Let's look at reference together, folks. Because this is always part of the magic. This is part of the magic. Where did my thing go? Okay. What makes a good photograph doesn't always make a good portrait. What's going to be a good... So, like, really, I'm looking for defined contrast. I don't want it, like, really, like, blown out. Oftentimes, photography tries to make people look flat because that's, like, glamour beauty stuff. But it's not, like... it doesn't mean it's, like, a good painting to do. Like, if you look at a lot of paintings, like, I mean, traditionally in Renaissance... Some of the Renaissance paintings were pretty flat, but like see like this lighting on the dude's face, that's nice. It's like, or hers, right? It's like a lot of times like this is like, there's just so much about bounce light. It's really hard to get form. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's just very difficult because same with her, or that person, just because it's form is lighting, and so if it's like really subtle painting, like it's really hard to do like that justice, if that makes sense. Same thing with her. She should have much more. That side of her face should be much more in shadow. If it would like something like that's a good solid portrait. That guy looks like he'd be fun to paint. I don't even know what I'm trying to say today, or like what I'm trying to say through the art. I know what I'm talking about, but it's that's kind of fun, kind of like magical. She's holding lights, but it like gives this like very witch type vibe. I don't know. I don't know. If you see something you're like, that'd be a good one. Like that's kind of cool. It's even though it's like very studio. That'd be fun to paint maybe. Two colors is really fun. Also very hard. I don't know. Do I want to do that? Should we do that? Old people are fun because they have all these wrinkles and a lot of form. Makeup like that. Smoky makeup isn't too bad because it just like sets their eyes back. But when they have lots of makeup, ooh, I could do a cat. That cat's dirty ears. It's like my cat has dirty ears too. One of them does, one of them doesn't. I don't know why. That's just a really moody portrait. That one's kind of cool. Ronald Reagan. Ugh. I don't know. Like I'm tempted to do like I was just thinking. I was like, do like a "This is fine" dog, but it's like an actual human, and it's like "This is fine" as it's just like flames all around them. That could be a fun piece to do. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. I can't even find good reference. If there's something you want to see someone say something, but like as of now, I don't know. This is a cool ass shot. I mean, I love it because she has blue hair and she has this really pink lighting. Yo, what up, Willow? How's it going? How are you doing tonight? That's kind of a cool portrait. I kind of also like the exposure on this. It's kind of like the way that like the softness of the sky and with that blue green is really cool. That's just fun. Brain fried from job application day. I hear you. Yeah, it's like I can't even make a decision here. I'm just like, what do I want to paint? I don't know. Nothing. What's an interesting portrait? Freckles are hard too. I mean, like, there's ways to do freckles. You can always just use like a freckle brush and then you like push and pull. But like actually trying to paint freckles it's just a lot of subtlety. Same thing with like striped shirts or polka dot shirts. Like you can do this shirt. Oh man, that'd be so crazy to paint from scratch without using digital tools. I've done it traditionally. It's just like you're like really lightly get all the little lines in. If you see a portrait you like, Willow, let me know and I'll consider doing it. Let's see. Do I even want to do portraits anymore? I said I was doing portraits. I should probably do portraits. This is cool, the lighting. I'm just always attracted to like really neon like multiple colored lighting. Ooh, like this, like that's kind of fun. But see, like you don't see any detail on the red of his face, and like makes it less fun. Babies are hard as hell because like they're just like a ball. There's like no form. It's just around the nose, the eyes, and the mouth. And look at this. Look at all that. That's just like smooth baby's cheek. Hmm. This is kind of cool. I don't know. This has some storytelling. Oh, wait. Silver Hair and Flower Girl. Who is that? No, I don't know. I'm just looking at something to paint. Let's see. Silver Hair and Flowers. Where'd that... I don't know. We're just looking for portrait painting. Silver hair. Okay, I'll look for the silver hair. Up farther? Damn. I missed it. Oh, her? This one, right? Okay. That one, I did see that one. Okay, so... Chaos Order. Random, we'll spin a wheel. Hedge Witch vibes. Okay, well that's because of the flower. Well, I guess the white hair. Okay, let's do this. Ooh, been to Japan. I could sell my photos from Japan for stock photos. And I could win cash prizes. Amazing. What's up, Deviare? How's it going? Yeah, let's do this one. I'm gonna stylize this, but I do like she actually, this photo is already done in a way that like really feels like anime vibes almost. You know what I mean? Like what it is because of how her hair comes down in such straight strands, and she has it cut in a way that like the stylist did a really great job with her hair. Whoever like the makeup artist, hair or like hairstylist person did, and it's also because she has like these like makeup brows that are like super clean. But what? Okay, the reason why I didn't pick this photo before, I did see it and I was like, this is pretty cool. Compositionally, there's a lot of stuff I like about this. I don't like the fact that like the lighting is so flat. It's just a very like ambient light from above, and it's also there's a fill light on her too. So it's just kind of like, I mean, it's a standard beauty shot. Like she looks good because you don't see any form in her face. But anyway, Health Aid Kombucha, Blood Orange, Carrot Ginger is what I'm drinking tonight. Her face does have good, like they're very sharp. She does have like a really cool, easy to paint bone structure. Like those planes on her cheeks are really strong, but it's just like this is a photo that I would have brought in my Leisure Wild Blueberry. That's good. Cool. It's all good. You're not none of y'all are expected to drink the kombucha. Just that's like a Rick thing, you know? Okay, so like this photo, this is something I would have brought in like in my figure painting 1 class to be like, is this a good photo? And my teacher would be like, that's going to be hard as shit to paint because you don't have as much. When you single source lighting, once again, if you want to learn portrait painting or portrait drawing and you want to learn like classical realism, single source lighting makes your initial studies so much easier. So I'm not saying don't try to paint something like this, but I will tell you, like, and I would do something like that where I'm like, well, I want to paint this. And then I'd be like, this is hard as shit. I'm not very good at this. And then it would be like, nah, right? What if I turn her into Queen of Cthulhu, Hive of Monsters? I mean, yeah, we could. I'm not saying we can't do that. Anyway, okay, so I don't know. So there's a part of me that wants to just use this completely as reference. And then there's also a part of me that is super exhausted from all of the marketing I've been doing today because of Cult Crafter and trying to just like send out newsletters and updates and let everybody know and like make sure that happens. Go with the follow, dude. So, okay, usually I would use this as reference. I'd pull this off the screen. And so you don't, like, I need it to be over here so you can't see it. Digital figure painted. Go with the flow. Oh, I was like, he's like, go with the follow. You make it a Cthulhu person, I'll give you a follow. No. So usually I would try to, like, okay, there's nothing wrong with tracing. Let me first say that, like whatever. If you want to trace shit, like trace shit. But honestly, what is more helpful but is also more painful, even digitally, like you can do this on your like Procreate or like photo, I'm on Photoshop, whatever, or whatever your graphics program is. You can easily trace this, just get the base anatomy right, get everything in its place. It'll look the same. I recommend trying to draw it or paint it first, get it to a very rough stage, and then bring that. So like what I could do is I could here, I gotta move this up so I can see my little buttons. Like, so this is, it depends. Like, are you trying to make the arts, or are you trying to like study? Because those are like, knowing what your intention is I think really important. So if I was just trying to be like, oh, I want to like study, I might just get like the base kind of proportions, turn this off in my document, and then try to like move this over here. And then I would try to like actually paint her face. Hair. Like lips there, nose. Or whatever, right? So like I try to like I know that's out of proportion, but like I would try to like paint first, and then I would turn this on to see how close I got, right? So I was like, oh, that's not too bad. Like the nose is slightly angled differently, but I got kind of nailed the eyes though. Eyebrows was off, hair was pretty much there. General proportions, not too bad, right? Like, okay, cool. But it's like, that's what you do when you're trying to like study. If you're just trying to like paint this woman into Cthulhu, we don't even need to like here. We can just duplicate this layer and then we'll just paint on top of it. We can just digitally paint stuff. So anyway, so it's like, like I said, there's nothing wrong with like tracing. It's just like know what you want to do. I don't want to do I want to do this hyper realistic? I don't think I really want to. Let's see. And like, okay, this is the other, like, again, if you're just trying to make art, color pick, fucking do whatever. But like, if you're trying to learn, color picking is not great, because you rely on color picking as opposed. And so, okay, this is the other thing. If you're only ever going to paint digital, like, and you're painting from reference every time, and like you probably should learn how to use a camera at that point so you can take your own reference when you need of something very specific. But then you can always just color pick from life. But I prefer not color picking when I'm doing it because one, I paint traditionally and I have to be able to mix the skin tone without color picking, and two, even when I'm painting digital, if I don't have an actual photo reference, I need to be able to like understand like relatively what skin tones are. But it's, color picking is fine when you're like, oh, I want to learn, okay, like, this European person, like, okay, skin tone is going to be like in this range. Even like her like blush, right? Or kind of like the shadows, it's still all in this range of like the color palette, right? So I'm not over here saturated when they look, they're all kind of like over in this area. So I don't know, like I I think it's okay. If I'm gonna make this like a weird Cthulhu lady, like I can't actually work that way. I think no. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trace the proportions, and then we are going to turn this off, and then we're gonna just paint fucking Cthulhu Queen lady, or like Demon Queen or something. And obviously, as we go, I'm gonna like start kind of exaggerating bits and parts, and like I'm raising her brow to make her look more quote unquote evil. Okay, I'm gonna put in the like kind of the pupil iris data, even though we might make her eyes just like a blank husk of death. I'm going to close this other copy because this is all I need. You can see like already just me adding those extra lines around her eye. It's like super aged her. You know what I mean? She old now. Creepy. She's seen some stuff, for sure. This is also a hard... it's not the easiest portrait to do. Like, and the reason I say that is because there's all this, like... There's all these flowers in the way. So if you're gonna paint flowers, that's cool. Like, paint the flowers, right? But if you don't want the flowers, like I don't want the flowers, you're gonna have to know anatomy well enough to like figure out what's going on. If that makes sense. Okay, I feel like she's kind of like giving me like Kung Fu Grandma vibes. I think with the white hair. Especially if we age her a bit, like. All right. So since I'm getting rid of Kung Fu Grandma, like we're just gonna go with Kung Fu Grandma. I'm actually gonna drop her down because, like in the original photo, like part of the composition is the flowers, right? Like that's anchoring a big part. That's why she's so high up in the frame. I ain't doing the flowers, so she's just gonna be like down here. She's just gonna be down here. So. I also have to figure out, like, what kind of clothes. Is she still... Then, wait. Cthulhu Queen? Queen of Cthulhu Hive? Right. You can do... What kind of... Okay, I'll do this on a new layer because I'm not sure. some sort of like evil looking crown, maybe. Okay, now she has some weird, creepy crown that we'll flesh out, as we flesh her out. Cause it's like, cool, she's Queen of Cthulhu Castle. Do we want to give her Cthulhu face? Like we just like. She a mind flayer kind of vibe, Her lip was a worm shape. Yeah, I think we're getting there. Maybe tentacles. Cool. Yeah, we'll make it legit Queen of Cthulhu. Okay, that's fine. I don't need to. Yeah, I don't need to keep her. We're not making her human, so we're just gonna get rid of her bottom lip in the first place. All right. I think. Okay, I'm just gonna flatten this. We're gonna. Oh, Heart of the. So the card game is. I think it turned out well. It's going live on BackerKit tomorrow. So we'll see how everyone else thinks the card game turned out. I think it turned out cool, but yeah, I'll actually be streaming twice tomorrow because I'm going to be streaming a kickoff release where we like play through the game a little bit, and then yeah, and goes live at 10 a.m. Pacific. Thank you. I hope everyone likes it as well. We'll see. So it's I got my last couple of quotes in, and like honestly I was really trying to like keep the total campaign goal low so we could like make sure we hit it and it like goes into production, but it's gonna be not cheap to make just because it's like 108 cards. So it's going to be a nice, massive, probably around $4,000 goal. I'm still holding out. There's one quote that I hear from a vendor who is supposedly like really affordable that's still coming my way. But if they don't get it to me by like 9:30 a.m. tomorrow, which they might because they're in China, and it's like it'll be like 9 a.m. in like 3 hours. Like, this is the thing. Once you start doing, like, if you ever do business in Asia, it's this weird thing where they're like 9 to 5 is like. Oh wait, what? No, it's backwards. What time is it now? It's yeah, it's like probably right now is probably like 6 a.m. I think. I could probably just look. Am I nervous? Yeah, I'm hella nervous. I haven't ever done a crowdfunder this big before, and it's my first game, so we'll see. To be honest, oh, it's noon right now. Never mind. Yeah, their 9 a.m. is like Pacific's 3 p.m. or something like that. Oh yeah, going to Asia is like super messed up. Hey, no worries. Hope to see you tomorrow, Willow, and thanks. Final smog check with the state referee. Good luck with your final smog check. That doesn't sound fun. Um, yeah. Oh, sorry. So like, it's noon in Tokyo right now. So that means China, I think, is like 2 hours behind, 1 or 2 hours. So yeah. So they're just getting to their desks today. So they have basically, I'm gonna wake up and see if they gave me a better price, and if that does, I will. I'd rather have a lower goal that I know I can hit, and but when you're doing like custom card games and stuff, so much is like manufacturing minimums, right? There's like minimums. You can't just get like one copy of stuff made. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I thought. I was just checking whether how much of her eyelashes we could see. All right. This is a solid Cthulhu princess or Cthulhu queen. I don't want to I don't want to diss her. Let's see. Sorry. I don't know. See, I like my blue greens in kind of like I like my greens in the bluer side of things, which you probably can tell even by my jacket. Um, but I don't know. Maybe Okay, no. We're gonna stick with like this like bluish green thing. We're gonna change your hair. I know it's not what you signed up for. Everyone's like, what? But then we're gonna do her hair. We'll give her red hair. And let's just do like a black gray jacket coat. I never would have huh. I feel like you're from the few times I've met you in person, Willow, I feel like you're a very blonde ginger. Just from like what I remember in my head. I don't think I would have been like, oh, ginger for sure. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know what I mean, but good. Yeah, just color it like I want to color it. But then then it'd be like neon. It's just, well, who knows? Maybe it won't be neon. Maybe it will be. We'll get there. We will get there, fam. It's so weird to paint, to use like I've been painting in the same style for so long, you guys. Like sorry, specifically for Cult Crafter, painting like not that way. I'm just like, oh, brain hard. But I don't know. I'm into this. I'm into this. Okay. So I think, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty glad that for the most part, I'm like a pretty flexible artist, stylistic wise. All right, we'll see what comes out of this. I mean, the nice thing about painting a Cthulhu person is that you can get pretty, like, wild with stuff, you know? Like, when you do, like, alien people, like, you can get, like, it can be like, and her nose is blue. You're like, why would her nose be blue? You're like, no, we won't do that. But it's like, you could do that. But realistically, we're light but muted. So I'm just sort of like making the direction of the light come from directly, like kind of our view, like the camera's view. Just using value to push it back. Yeah, it's not I don't know. It's not a terrible thing, but I think in terms of, sorry, going back to that conversation about style, it's just I would say this is kind of my more natural way of painting, but there is something about like the speed that was nice of Cult Crafter. It's like, let's finish this thing in 30 minutes sometimes. It's like, whoa, where'd that come from? But it's like, that's something that you can always like try to figure out for yourself, is like, how do you want, like, what level of finish do you desire? And if you don't need a high level finish, then you can actually move quite fast. Well, I don't know. Sometimes like 80% of the work is thinking through it. At least like later on. In the beginning, most of it is like is trying to get the craft right. And then later on, when like the craft becomes less of an issue, then it becomes like it's a little bit more about like, what am I trying to say, and can I do that successfully? I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards like black eyes, but then maybe like crazy yellow pupil, like crab pupils or something. I don't know. Alright. So we got these weird little creepy eyes painted in. Alright. I don't know, should she have a nose? I'm kind of thinking maybe she shouldn't have a nose. Like, it could just be like one tentacle, or kind of like a octopus Davy Jones nose bridge, you know? I feel like that made her look way creepy. You're like, oh, she just has like tentacle face. But then you do that, and you're like, okay, now we're in creepy territory, which I like. Okay, good call. Good call, team. You know, I'm actually just, yeah, I'm gonna flatten. Do I want to do this? Yeah, I think so. I'm going to flatten the line art layer onto, like, the face layer. And the reason I haven't even saved this file yet. Let's see, on my computer. Oh, it's weird to not save things into Cult Crafter anymore. Art digital. Oh, my computer won't even save it. No worries. Come on. Save it. Oh, I was going to die. I was going to die. Okay. Cthulonic Queen. That's what we'll call this. Okay, we'll paint the eyebrows in. Someone once told me to make sure you always just paint the eyebrows like you don't want to think of them as, or like hair even. The less you think of them as individual strands, and at least in painting, it's different from drawing. But like, well, I mean, if you're using like a charcoal pencil or something, it's kind of the same. But like, yep. you can thinking of them as sort of just like a big mass certainly helps simplify the uh, the painting of it. So I'm just kind of like rendering this eye to oblivion because, like, if there's one thing you kind of want to, like, if you're going to render a bunch of stuff, you might as well render around the eye because you can sort of have the rest of the person look like a potato. But then if you have really good eyes, people are like, ooh, that's a good painting. And you're like, but the rest of them looks like a potato. But you get those, get eyes done well. It'll serve you well in your life to do good eyes. And really what I've learned about digital painting is that like if you want something to look smooth, a lot of times it's just like going back and forth with the color. It's like darker color, lighter color, darker color, lighter color. And then you get like these really like smooth gradients. So then you can be like, "Oh yeah, this is what I'm looking for." Right? Like, look, the rest of it looks like a potato, but because the eyes are good, you're like, yeah, this is fine. You might not think it's fine, but I'm like, yeah, this is fine. All right, let's render each tentacle. This is the worst part about doing like mind flares or like Cthulhu soulful potato. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Is the never-ending tentacles. And if you actually do them as octopi tentacles, I mean, it looks cool. Don't get me wrong. It looks super cool when you do octopus tentacles. But the painting all the suckers, it's like snakes. I have a friend, her name's Emerald Barkley. She's a super fucking amazing watercolor painter out of Sacramento. And she does like a bunch of snakes and skulls, and she does it in watercolor, which is just a very unforgiving medium. I know people think that like oils are hard. Like I think there's this idea that like oil painting is like, why is my camera so weird? Like oil painting is like really difficult, and it sort of is, but it's not as hard as I think watercolor is. Because Oil, you can do what's called as painting impasto, which is where you paint like really thick, and it's a look, but like you can paint really opaquely when you're painting with impasto. Same thing with acrylics. Um, Watercolors are transparent as fuck, everybody. So like if you want black, you have to do like gray, and then you have to let that dry, and then you do more black, and then you do gray again, and you let that dry, and then you have to do black again, and it's like you have to do like depending on the brand of paint you're using, you have to do like 3 to 4 passes to get dark colors. So but you also can't, it's really hard to go light. There's lifting, there's techniques, I know, but it's like, it's not just like easy. You can't just like take white and go ha. At least not with just solo watercolor. You can't. A lot of people, like, it's big in kind of the animation industry to use gouache for your painting, because you get, it's like water based, but you're still getting you can get like fairly opaque white. Still not perfect, but like and so that's like a thing that some people like care about or want to do, but yeah, it can be tough. So watercolor, to do a bunch of little fucking scales on a snake, I mean, like, I don't know, some people love that. Some people like really like the minutia, right? Some people like pen and ink people are this way. We're like, I'm gonna cross hatch and let me add little like splatter and like let me do like let me just draw all the hairs. I fucking hate that. I just want to like big blob of color, be done, and like I don't know. Like even this is why like I love Cult Crafter. Like, let me just show you. Like, okay, so this is like not even, I don't know, like we're so far from being done with this. But then when you look at like, here, I'll open an actual thing. Like, okay, I also need to show this because I think this is funny. Okay, so like, it's just rough outline. The lines are all jaggedy. The colors is like 2 colors. The tentacles aren't even, the circles, the suction cups aren't even all like proper way. Look at this like chalky thing. I'm just like, whatever. Oh, pen and ink stone castle. Senior project took 24 hours of tiny hatching. Oh yeah. With like pen and ink or even like charcoal and like I did a 45-hour portrait, 18 by 24 with charcoal pencils, compressed charcoal, and Vine. And it's probably the most photorealistic thing I've ever done. Like I have it framed, like hidden away, and every once in a while, like I'll be looking for something and I'll have to pull it out. I'll be like, God damn, this is super good. And then I'm like, oh yeah. That's what you can do when you just spend fucking 40 hours on one piece of art, as opposed to like this dude probably took me like 45 minutes, I think, when we did this on stream. Like this dude was so fast. Like, and I had so much fun. I might keep this style as like kind of a thing going forward, because like this is fun and this is like kind of impressive more because it like starting as it gets realistic. This is very far from it right now still, but like, I don't know. But okay, wait, I do need to show you this ad. So, oh, thank you. I'm glad you, like, I like that guy too. So I was like, you know what? Like I'm, as someone asked, like, I'm super nervous about the crowdfunding campaign tomorrow. I mean, the economy sucks. Everyone's like the government's being dismantled. It's hard to care about a card game about cults and stuff, but I was like, whatever. I gotta try, right? So I go on. I find out Reddit. You can buy ads on Reddit, and I was like, you know what? Like, I don't like giving money to tech, but like in social media platforms. But I'm like, I need people to at least know about this card game. So I made up a bunch of ads and I put them on Reddit. And this is the one that, at least in conjunction with certain art. Okay, so it also, the cool thing about Reddit is it lets you like test stuff, right? So I put up 3 different images and then I wrote 5 different headlines, and it was like, we're going to try like headline A with each of the images and then headline B with each of the images, right? So like, it actually is really good for like a marketer because you can kind of see like you can test a bunch of stuff. And marketers, if you're a good marketer, you're all about testing so you can get the data to be like, what's appealing to my audience, what's actually driving revenue, and then you can put more money towards that. But I got 2 ads rejected, and they were both with this image, and I think one of the texts that went along with this was, join a cult that worships demons, not morons. And, and it got rejected. They wouldn't run it. They wouldn't run it because I don't know how they knew. But okay, so then they said, why did they reject it, right? And they were like, this is a political ad. And I'm like, I mean, it's an ad for a card game, which is kind of political, but like, really? You know what I mean? Like, it's still a card game. It's not like I'm raising money directly for a candidate or like trying to like platform ideas or like raise money for like a super PAC or something. But yeah, I find that kind of super interesting. But I don't know. Does this look like political campaigning? Oh, you got auto modded? Maybe everything is just censorship now. Everything is, you can't say anything. Everything is censored. I'm sorry you got auto modded. I can't un-auto mod you because now that I'm using Restream, I don't have like my direct chat notifications or something. I don't think you said a bad word either. I think, yeah. Nope, wasn't goddess. It's probably the Tangerine Palpatine. You used... Oh, no. You used Tangerine Palpatine? That's funny. I don't know. But anyway. I mean, I don't know if they'd even catch the fact that, like... Oh. Alright. Because you're calling someone a moron. Sorry. It's like, I don't even think anyone is looking at this ad close enough to see that the card name is Grifter. Or that, like, I don't know, that anyone is looking close enough that, like, this is there's, like, anti-Scientology stuff in it. I don't know, like... I don't know why it got flagged, but I think it's kind of funny. But this is good, right? I think this is really good. Like, okay, I don't know if it's good copy because good copy will convert people to buying the game tomorrow, but I think this is funny, clever copy. Join a cult that worships demons, not monsters. Right? Right? It's like we want to worship the demons, not MAGA. Anyway, I was pretty proud with this one. I was like, This is clever, Kitagawa. You did good. This is how you tie in your hatred of all of the terrible things that our government is doing right now with your cult game. Anyway, we'll go back to painting good old Tentaclina. I'm glad you like it, Willow. I'm glad you get it. Thank you. Oh, I hate you, spammer. But I think I gotta admit, you've got a great screen name. Please properly go screw yourself. But that's... I think that's funny. I think that's funny. Thanks, Fatty Bum Bum. Go away. Go away. Alright. That's the other thing, is that like these tentacles, like, I don't know. I'm into this, like, interlude. So I'm actually trying not to make the highlight too bright now, because then I want to be able to come in with like a lot of like speculars like that later on at the end to kind of give it really like that wet tentacle look. So I realized I was like kind of going too bright already for that. Sorry, I'm just like trying to figure out like the thickness of this tentacle. And okay, so part of the reason why I flattened the pencil layer or like my sketch layer onto the layer I'm directly painting on is because ideally the like you want to like if you're trying to do a traditional like classical realism, when you're painting you don't want the lines to show through, but you still want the definition that comes from a line which shows like the end of a plane, right? Like the edge of my face or something like that, right? You want those hard edges to be there, or even soft edges, but you want those edges to be there, but without needing the line. So by having the line on the layer you're painting on, you can just paint over that line, but then you still know where there needs to be like a deep crease or anything like that. Yo, what up, Josh? Thanks for the raid, my friend. How you doing? Yo. Okay. Cthulhu Lady just froze on me. It's so funny. I've been like working so small. Like most of the Cult Crafter things that Biggest like printed are like 5x7. And this is still small. This is still like 5.5 by like, I don't know. It's still small. 8.5 to make it like 11x17 print maybe if I really like this. But we'll go a little darker here. How's it going, Josh? What are you up to, my friend? No complaints. Just doing my... Well, I don't know. There's always complaints. But for the most part, doing my best. I think I'm just stressed about the campaign tomorrow, but... As I put out in my newsletter, it's like, at worst, you know, like, the campaign just doesn't get funded. And that sucks, but, like, if it was up to me, I would probably push this till, like, a summer thing. I wouldn't release now, but, you know, I have a partner through like the event that we're doing, the Pocketopia, which is called that because it's like games that you could learn quick and fit in your pocket. You might need a big pocket for my game, but there's a part of me a few days ago that was like bringing back Jingos for your kid. I mean, I feel like aren't like big baggy jeans already back? Isn't that like in fashion with the kids? All the youngins? But yeah, you might have to. But yeah, I don't know. I think me and everyone else are slightly concerned. Only because I haven't done a game before, you know what I mean? Um, I hope not either, but I think they are. Oh man, I had a friend in high school who was like into the rave scene back then, and man, those giant jeans, I was just like, fuck, like cool, but like I get not even cool, but it was just like, how are those functional? And like your jeans would be all the back of them are all torn up because you keep stepping on them. It's just like this is yeah. 90s were wild. But yeah, I feel like if I like if I keep talking about the campaign, I feel like I'm like gonna spread like FUD or like the fear, uncertainty, doubt about my own thing. Just like I don't know, guys. And it's I guess it's just like that's I would say that's just like normal fear, normal imposter syndrome, you know. But I don't know. People, I like to be upfront about how I feel about projects and stuff. But I don't know. Maybe it's better if I just don't. I'm terrified. No, I'm totally confident. It's fine. It's fine. It'll be okay, everybody. But I was thinking of like, oh, is there a way I could turn this into like a TTRPG instead of a card game? And then just produce that, because that's like way cheap. That's like zine pricey, man. To do a TTRPG, to produce it, I need $10. I'll sell two. Sold. And then everyone you make beyond that is like, no, whatever. No, that's not true. Zines would like a full, like even a like small TTRPG, still costs like money. But you know what I mean? It's as opposed to like, but that's like domestic printing. I'm dealing with like international freighting, because to get card games made, like you don't make like 10. You know what I mean? You're making, I got to make like 1,500. So I gotta sell a lot. to make 1,500 copies of the game. Which, I mean, I don't know. Like, some people, like, everyone has a different idea of, like, how much stuff costs. You know what I mean? But I don't know. If you're watching this and you're like 1,500 copies, things getting pricing things, yeah, pricing's tough. Are the international financial shenanigans gonna hit me? Maybe. It'll affect me. Okay, honestly, I would probably. So okay, the campaign. I'll just say the numbers because it makes sense. It'll like help you kind of like have an idea in your head of what I mean by a lot of backers, right? So, like the early bird tiers for the game are going to be $25 plus shipping. The early bird tier for getting your portrait painted and you get to name a card is $75, which I think is really fair to price to ask for someone because you get a copy of the game and you get a portrait painted. So I think that's actually very cheap, to be honest. But I just don't have the list. I don't have like some of the other people who have done TT, who are doing this event with me, are doing like TTRPGs, tabletop role playing games. And they're like releasing like an expansion or a new skin for this thing they've already built. And I look at their follower count and they're like, we have 1,700 people following the campaign. I'm like, bro, I don't. I have like, I think when I last looked, I have like 75, which honestly, I need about 170 to 180 people backing the campaign to make it work. So that's hard. And I need to raise about $4,000 for the campaign. But if you are out there watching this and you're like, you know what? I run a game store. I will back you. You're like, I'll buy 20 copies. There is a tier for you, my friend, so please go and do so. I really hate doing this, but I'm also very tired. What I hate doing is I don't like detailing one part when the rest of the portrait looks like poop. But I'm tired, and so that's what's happening. Is that like I don't have the wherewithal to be like, no, keep jumping around. Keep moving around, man. Don't get complacent in one area. I'm like, nope, don't care. Doing one thing. I don't know why a Cthulhu snake woman would have hair or eyelashes or eyebrows, but like, you know, sometimes you just go with it. That's like, you know, the whole thing of like the mythology of like mermaids and stuff. And we're always like, oh, let's make mermaids hot. You know, they're like topless. I can see their boobs and they're like pretty. And I'm like, dude, like, why? Mermaid? I mean, it's really probably so like sailors can like, you know, have something to think about in those long, cold nights at sea. But like, I don't think so. I think sirens probably just look more like fish monsters. Hybrid daddy was a Cthulhu, her mama was. I like that it was like a Cthulhu, not just Cthulhu. Not the singular, but a Cthulhu. Mama was a siren. Okay. And still the sirens, did you know this is interesting. I don't know if you know this. Maybe you do know this, so then it's like not news to you. But sirens originally were not like the mermaid type siren. That happened a little bit later. Originally, in the myth of the sirens, they were basically like harpies. Like they had wings, and they were like bird women that sang. So the OG harpy or the OG siren is closer to a harpy than a mermaid. But now, like, I think it was in like the 1870s. I think most people like started being like, oh, it's like, it's a it's a siren. Like, they're the same thing. I don't know. You can look it up. Look it up on Wikipedia. It'll tell you. But anyway, yeah. So Colt Crafter, I haven't ever raised $4,000 before. You sewed a winged harpy costume for your Barbie? Nice. You see, Willow, I can count on you to know what's up. You know what's up. You're like, mythology? Got it. Got it, bro. I don't need you to tell me. You don't need to mansplain me harpies. Sirens. I fucking know. And I knew you would. I figured someone on the stream would. Someone would be like, hey, actually. And I'm like, yes. Correct my ass. So I don't know. I was thinking of like, if there was a way that I could have uh done my campaign as a TTRPG instead of a card game, that would save a lot on production costs, and then I could lower the thing. Um, yeah, I don't know, but I think it's just not going to happen at this point. It goes live tomorrow. I am waiting on one last quote. And supposedly this place might have the best prices, so I might be able to drop down my goal by a few $100, but like, I don't know. The price is what it needs to make, you know? Hey, anything helps, Willow. Thank you. Appreciate it. Please share. Yeah, yeah. Stuff is siren stuff is probably not condemned in schools now. They're like, we only teach about the human beings. We only teach about the human beings and the God. You're like, what about the sirens? And you're like, nope. Nope. Inappropriate for children. They need to learn about the God that just like killed a bunch of people with a flood. Not mythical women creatures that have boobs. We don't talk about women's no more. Fuck, it's so depressing. Jesus Christ. Ah. Oh well. But yes, thank you, Willow. Please spread the word. Anyone else? If you know friends that like games, send them. Or if they want to be in a game, you know, like, hey, you could be in the game. You could paint your picture and put you in the game. Who doesn't want that, right? Everyone's like, I don't want to be in a cult game. I'm like, aw, you're no fun. Okay, that's not the best hair, but like, it's getting there. We're getting more definition at least, you know? gonna try to do this like a purplish black kind of crown. I want to play more D&D. Or at least like do more RPG stuff. It doesn't have to be D&D. I kind of lost some of my drawing here. But, well... It's just like, okay, so Willow, D&D is basically like a fancy version, or it's like, not even a fancy version, it's a more complex version of what we played with Witches and Demons in the server, which I want to bring back. That's actually what I was thinking I should have done. I was like, oh, you know what I should have done? I should have come up with a booklet or a program or something that helps people play RPGs over Discord using GIFs. But yeah, instead of like you know, with D&D, there's just more rules around things like the like amount of times you can cast a spell per battle, or like you have to check to see. I'd hate that in person. No, it's fun. It's super fun. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, it's also who you play with too, right? Like the Witches server, specifically around that kind of stuff, they're pretty rowdy. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, well, okay, so improv, that's true. Improv is very difficult for one. And I think, like, I think it really depends on who you play with and who's the GM. Like, I don't have a whole lot of GM experience. And also, people were like, there's a difference. There's like people who like play for fun and they want it to be funny and weird, and like, you know, the fact that like one of the witches like kept licking things, you know, like that's like a weird kind of like, oh, like, you know, it's like, oh, this is like fun, right? And then there's other people who are just like much more serious about it, and they're like, you know, they just have very much more refined characters, and it's about the storytelling and the lore building. And so, like, I don't know, like, I also I think too, when you play with the same characters over and over again, and you play like a campaign, as you go along, like you basically, I mean, you can also just kind of play as yourself in a lot of ways. And then you're not having to worry about like improv so much as like, oh, like when you're in and like with D&D there's a board and you're like, you roll for initiative, so there's an order in which people go, and like the way that I did witches was much more kind of free flowing and like had a lot more improvisation, right? Because like any witch could shoot a fireball, but you could also shoot a lightning bolt, right? And so like the game I set up was more about like you fight really powerful monsters, but you get to like kind of do anything to try to see if they have a weakness, or like, oh, you know, if it's like a giant monster and we're in a cave, can I blow up the rocks just to like trap the thing in there, right? Or like people are just like, I'm gonna hit it with a fireball, and you're like, all right, roll a die, see if you hit it with a fireball, and then you're like, no, it didn't. Or like, it doesn't work. It hit it, and then it still came down and smacked you in the face and almost killed you, and you're like, ah. But you know, it's, I don't know, it's wacky. I don't know what else to say. It's wacky. But I don't think it needs to be as improv-y as like, it's definitely not as improv-y as like what we did with witches. Like D&D has a lot more rules to keep it more structured. So it more feels like you're really, like, I feel like the witches events were basically like, they're just like super insane. Oh, okay. Regarding the Krampus, no, not all of the prizes got sent out because I'm like I was like, oh, I got to get this one guy in the Discord who he's a longtime collector of mine, and I gave out, you know, Krampus tickets to physical collectors this year. And I was like, oh, like I got to get him into the Discord server and see if he wants the prizes, and if not, I'll just give him, I'll like re-roll them, you know. And then the evacuation happened. The goddamn fires happened. And so, no, long story short, no, I need to get you your Krampus tickets back. Yeah, the fires, man. Fire set me back at least like 2 or 3 weeks, project wise. So annoying. I mean, whatever, right? Like, I can only complain so much. I didn't lose my house or anything, so I'm like definitely super grateful for that. But it's it's also very real that I got super behind in all of my projects that I was already like kind of, I already had too many in a lot of ways, and then it just like got way worse. But I still but to your point, I still owe you, whoa, Krampus tickets. Thank you for reminding me. Oh, thanks. I think that's the thing that I didn't learn about hair early on, is that like so much of getting hair texture in is like just blocking in big shapes and kind of going like darker to light and then going over it again with from light to dark. And it's just sort of like just going back and forth between the two to really get that kind of a more, realistic hair texture. I'm gonna have to just repaint these tentacles, but it's gonna be way easier than just trying to be super. I mean, I don't know. I could maybe be super careful, but I don't. Get a little bit of rim light on this, bring out some form. Oh, I can't wait for not to be running a crowdfunding campaign. I feel like doing... Okay, also just heads up, I highly don't recommend doing more than one crowdfunding campaign a quarter. Doing one a month apart, January to February, and one from March to April, I'm already feeling insane. Insane, I tell you. Yes, the pins. Yep. I just feel like I've been non-stop selling. Which is like, I don't know, like, I guess a necessary thing for an artist to do is to keep selling, but I don't know. I mean, you know what? It's like, this has been really good because it's helped me make a game, but because I've been like, I want to be a game designer. I want to be a game designer, but I never was making games. So like, yeah, you're not. Am I a game designer? No. Want to be one, but so this helped me like get off my ass and like actually make a game. But to that point, damn. I could have also made a game in like July or something. But I guess like this is why people like, I don't know. I mean, games don't always have to be complex. I don't think that like I'm definitely trying not to say that. You can like some of the best games have been made with like very clear constraints in mind. But I think my problem was not knowing the constraints to put on myself because I had never made a game before. Right? Like knowing that one factory shut down. Okay, I knew this anyway, that factory shut down like you don't want to be talking to a factory from like mid-January to like end of February because there's just too many holidays. There's Golden Week, there's Lunar New Year's, Chinese New Year, like whatever you want to call it. Like there are just too many holidays. Like factories in China fucking shut down for like a month. And so like they get super backed up with things, and I didn't think that a quote could take 3 weeks to get. And if I had known that, I likely would have, I don't know, I would have prioritized the game more than I did. So it's like, oh, I needed to know how many components to have. And I didn't have any constraint of how many cards. I was like, I don't know, like they come in a sheet of 54. I don't know, double that. And now, and it's fine, right? Because the game doesn't cost that much to make. But when you have to order thousands of them, and like, with enamel pins, I'll order a couple hundred enamel pins, maybe 1,000 enamel pins. They come to me in a big box that they FedEx to me for like $150 or something, right, for shipping. And now it's like, all right, so you need to, like this one company I talked to, they're like, okay, cool, here are the terms. Do you want to pay for us to put it on a pallet? And I was like, what? And they're like, oh yeah, so like, we can put it on a pallet for you. And then I'm like, how do I get the game? How do you get the game to me? Right? And, oh, thanks. Welcome back, Devier, and I'm glad you are digging the queen. And I'm like, what do you mean you just put it on the pallet? And so they're like, oh yeah, we'll put it on the pallet and shrink wrap it for you. And then, so I need to find someone in China who runs a shipping company and has a forklift to go and pick up my, I don't know, 3 pallets full of games. And then that person, I need to figure out how to schedule space on a container ship. And then probably in Mandarin. And then I need to then figure out any like export duty fees, I think, in China and somehow pay those. And then the ship sails across the ocean, arrives at the port of LA. And this part I figured out because this part is in the United States and is in English, so it's pretty easy to research this. So then I get to hire a bonded longshoreman or company to take said freight from shipping container into a warehouse. Then I get to hire a different a freight company to come to said warehouse on my behalf. I think I have to pay the warehouse all of the duties and the taxes and the import fees and any tariffs that I now have to pay. Then the freight guy gets to pick up my pallets, drive them over to my house, and then unload them into my new storage thing I might have to rent to hold 2 extra pallets worth of games. I don't know. Realistically, I have a garage I think it can fit in, so like it's fine. But like, okay, so this is stuff I'm figuring out on top of trying to make the game fun, on top of trying to do all of the art for the game, on top of like doing any marketing. This is not something, like 6 months was not enough. 6 months was not enough. So yeah. So something that oh yeah, it's just me. That is crazy. It's a ton of different steps. That it's just me. My company is me. So game design, writing instructions, designing the packaging, making sure the packaging is shippable in other countries, because you have to have stuff, because you can't export, like exporting games from China without saying things like made in China, play for this year's, all of that, not legal. So I have to make sure that's all up to par. Marketing the game, doing ads for the game, I don't know, man. Doing all of the art, designing the game, laying out the files to send to the factory, figuring out all of this like weird transportation shit to get my game to me. Yeah. And I mean, and some of the companies are like, oh, we'll help you with all of that. It's like, you know, they obviously charge. It makes the thing cost more to do that, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah. So what yeah. Yeah. I don't know, like I've been trying to all day, this entirety of today, the past, okay, realistically I was up at like 8:30, so like roughly the past 13 hours, it's like 9:30 for me. I have been trying to figure out a way to lower the amount of money I have to raise, because like, you know, like I can always, if I raise more money, I can always like do other stuff. You know, I can always make the game cooler, but what is like the bare minimum that I need in this card deck? And so I'm still waiting for one quote, so I'm holding out hope for that. And then one thing I am thinking of is potentially if I can reduce the number of cards I need. Like, I'm trying to think of like what the minimum like cool cards would be. And yeah, like, I mean, to be fair, I feel like I barely know what I'm doing, so I don't know if I'm in any state to teach someone any of this. I like the thought though. But I'm just like, I don't even know. I don't even know. But okay, to be fair, the worst thing that can happen to this campaign, well, okay, the worst thing that could happen in this campaign is I could decide that I'm scared of not hitting my goal. I could lower the goal artificially, and then if I hit the goal but I don't get to my real goal, I then just lose a bunch of money, which I don't really have. So that would be at worst, is that like I would set myself up for failure by under budgeting, because I'm scared. So that would be the worst thing. But realistically, I'm not going to do that. So either I pull back the number of cards, and then this was a suggestion, was that like, oh, what if could you do only 54 cards instead of 108? And I'm like, I feel like the game, like I designed the game to be what it is, and going down any more would very much make it not the same game. And I don't know if I could. Like I've been thinking about this. Someone said this like maybe 4 or 5 hours ago, and I was just like, fuck, man, I don't think I can. Like, I really want to. I really want to just be like, oh, like, let's have a $15 or $2,000 goal, or the $2,500 goal even. And if we get to 4,000, then we'll do an expansion set. And if you back, you get both or whatever, But I just don't think it'll work though. Because part of it is that the cultist deck itself, you need money to make money. Well, see, that's why crowdfunded, man. It helps break you out of that need money to make money, because I mean, you need some money. You need resources to be able to, like, design cards and, like, market it and stuff like that. But if you do your budgeting right, like, I wouldn't have gotten into enamel pins without crowdfunding. So I'm like, I'm not spending $1,000 to do all these designs, but enough people like the designs that, I mean, they're basically pre-sales, and ooh, look at that. Look at that texture. I'm into this. Like, adding, like, little scales or kind of just, like, uneven skin. The campaign needs to be this short because it's part of one of their, like, topias. Meaning that, like, yeah, like, all of the campaigns that are launching as part of this are all March 13th to April 3rd. Free labor. No, I don't want free labor. I want to be able to pay people properly. I like that this, like, okay, so the way I'm kind of, like, stippling on this, is kind of also helping me build up, like, the form, and it kind of is giving her more of, like, the octopus eyes things. The tentacled, soulful potato. She, like, yeah, like, you could get a lot more creepy and more unattractive from a human perspective than this I mean, she's kind of ravishing, you know? She is quite attractive for a tentacled Cthulhu hybrid woman thing. I'm also worried I'm getting into like this kind of fine detailing a little bit too soon, but yeah, I do have a Discord, my friend. Uh, let me drop it into chat. And yeah, it's like people are always welcome to drop in. I don't collab really, to be honest. I mean, like I want to. I've just been like so caught up. I do collab sometimes, but I've just been so caught up with all of all of my own projects. I just haven't had time to collab. I feel really bad actually, because there's a lot of people that I want to work with, or I said I would work with too, and I've just been really behind. And I mean, I honestly, I probably should be using this time to do some of that work, but I also want to like give them my best, and like I'm so tired right now that like even if I did kind of work on their stuff, it would probably be half-assed because I'm exhausted. Not gonna lie. And so like while you're like, oh, like this isn't looking bad, it's still like I'm like, this is me just kind of like not needing to hit a brief. And I finally get it now, like now that I'm older. So I went to this art event, and yeah, you're welcome to join, please. Love to have you. I went to this art event when I was still in art school, and it was like this really high level concept art event put on by a concept art studio, and I was not nearly skilled enough to like want to go to like get a job or get a portfolio review or anything like that. I just wanted to go and see the demos, right? The demonstrations live and be able to like talk to these artists and be like, hey, how'd you do this? And so I remember watching one of the guys do like a fucking 20-minute speed paint of RoboCop that was like phenomenal. It was like so good. Like 0 to 20, he went from sketch to like a pretty like probably his RoboCop was way more finished than this in like 20 minutes, and it was like a full body RoboCop. And everyone is like, bro, okay, so the artist, his name is Jason Chan. He's a concept artist. Dude is very, very technical. Like, he's good. He's like beyond his like imagination stuff. He is a fucking super technical artist. So good. And he was like, by the way, like, I do not do client work this fast. And everyone was like, what do you mean? And it's like, it's painting, right? And he's like, no, you guys don't get it. Like, when I'm just up here and I'm doing whatever I want and I don't have an art director, I can just like make something and he's like, realistically, I've painted RoboCop like probably like 50 times. So like, this isn't like a difficult thing for me, and I don't have to think about it, and I don't have a client to please. It's just RoboCop rendered. Like, that's all it is. It's like a design that you would pass off to maybe a 3D modeler or something, like in the industry. Like, you know, he's talking from like a film and game perspective. And he's like, yeah, like, this doesn't require like this at this point it's just rendering for me, and I know how to render. I've rendered for like the past like 10 years. Like this isn't like me having to think that hard. It's just like light shadow. Oh, add this texture. Metal does this. Scales do this. Like hair is like this in terms of what I'm doing, right? And it's kind of the same thing. Is that like, sure, this is taking thought to like, oh, how do I build the form around this? And how is the light going to hit? And like, how is it going to react? But like, it's nowhere near the level of like, even if I'm doing something more simple, but when I have a brief to hit, I have to really, I'm constantly thinking about design, about storytelling, about like, does this fit? Does this not fit? Like, what is this saying? What is the shape language doing? What is the composition? How is it going to be produced? What's it going to be made for? What size does it need to be? Is this readable? Like, there's all of these other things that you're thinking of when you're working for like, for a brief, really. And so like not being able to do that feels really bad, if that makes sense. Because I'd feel like I was like doing like other people's like a disservice, right? If I'm not being able to like be this thoughtful and be this like, like intentional with my work. So thus you just get, I mean, this is still cool. Like I appreciate the suggestion of Queen Cthulhu because I'm like really into this. Deviare. So like if I finish this in time, I might make this one of my new prints at WonderCon. So like I'm like, yeah, this is cool. But I also recognize that I'm not like this could have probably been designed a little bit better. Like I don't know, like I could have done something with the flowers. I could have gotten a new model with a better jacket and designed something cool. Might she be minted as well on the Tezos blockchain? She might be, Willow. Although, to be fair, before I do any new minting, I'm going to probably mint all of the demons or all of the gods for here. Let's just look at this real fast. I don't know what, like this template I downloaded puts like these three duplicate again, but so I'm not gonna do the cards, but I'll be doing these demon gods first. So this is all of them. Exsanguinator, Glorbraxis, Carrion, Nightmare Sama, which is a adult version of Nightmare Chan, my vinyl figure. Patchwork Horror, Sanguinous Rex, Smiley Trencher, the Ancient One, the Bone Lord, that's a duplicate of Carrion, the Void Queen, the Screecher, which I might redo the mouth. I've been thinking that I kind of want to like tear off the bottom jaw and have it be more like clear that this is like this demon thing. It's like a little bit more demonic. The Frenzy, which is one of my favorite illustrations I've done in a very long time. First Bog Witch and the Dark Shambler. So those are all going to be the mints. Yeah, those are first. And I'm glad you like the smiley guy. That guy's fun. I've been using him for a lot of like promo material. Because I figured out that he can like, I can hang a sign around his neck and make different things, him say different things. I just like painted this like sign. So I've been using him for like a lot of the marketing. Green Demon Fish, Fog, the Void Queen, Smiley Guy. Yeah. Thanks. I like Void Queen too. I like the Frenzy. So the idea behind this is that it's skeletal fish and like skeleton predators in a gelatinous goo of like rotted flesh. But it's like a frenzy, so it's just like this, like it's like Sharknado kind of, but it's bone fish and it's not water but rotted flesh. Yes, H.P. Lovecraft, Magic the Gathering. Thank you. I'm into it. That's a huge compliment. Thanks. Duma's a large vinyl figure and high promo sizes. Okay. So these are just the God cards, to be honest. This is where I had the most fun, but I also have. I'll just show you guys. I was planning to kind of like save some of the magic for tomorrow's kickoff event, but I think it's helpful for. This is nice practice too. But these are all like the event cards. So the whole point of the game is to and that would be a crazy vinyl figure, and it would be. I don't have the extra $4,000 to also make that into a big vinyl figure, although I love the idea. Maybe a sculpture. I could do a big sculpt of him. A one-off type thing. Anyway. So, there's like this... Here, I'll zoom in more. So, one of the cards, Assassination, you get to kill a cultist. You have the coup card, where like, you kick down a cultist, and then like... a new one takes its place. Bribery. You know, like in South Korean dramas, I don't know if you watch Korean dramas, but like people always bribe politicians with like boxes of juice that are filled with just like stacks of money. I thought it would be the same thing, but it's bronzer as a mega pack instead of juice. Got a conspiracy theorist that can basically like become they become a copy of the follower above it. Resurrection, so like if a cultist is dead, you basically get to pick one and like reanimate them. Recruitment drive, a subtle detail that you won't really see unless you're really looking for it, so I'll point it out, is that she's actually using like a cursed necklace to like mind control people who pick up the join flyer. So there's like a really subtle green glow to the flyer that is like she's gonna juju you, as I call it. Indistinguishable sheep. Yeah, you really helped a lot with that one. Thanks, Willow. Indistinguishable sheep. 2 fake like they're not really great likenesses, but I modeled them after 2 people. But the fact is, you could just swap them, and they're just indistinguishable cultists who aren't even worth giving them their own card. Consult the Oracle, the All-Seeing Oracle. Diviare, I actually made one of these. Like, I have a giant head that's too big to show in camera. And that might make the appearance tomorrow on tomorrow's stream. Arcane Knowledge, which is like you get to draw cards. Duplicates. And then there's idols for each of the different aspects. So there's 7 demonic aspects. Offering of Blood, Tapestry of Flesh, Rotting Pustule, a Brain Jar, and a Blinded Doll, which I think is really funny because it's a doll that has I don't know why, but it's a Swiss Army knife stabbed into the eyes because you blinded a doll. I don't know. It's for darkness. I thought that was kind of a funny, weird thing. But anyway, these are the card layouts. So it's going to be a card game. And so like you can already see, like I already have like there's 7. Oh, there's a skeleton card missing here. 16, 17, 18. So there's 17 of these cards, of the resource cards. There are 14 gods. I'm already at 28, and then I need, and so even if I were to do one card of each, and there should be more than one action card, there's no way I can hit 54, because I then have I have cultist cards, and I need 42 of these to make the game work. And so these are customizable, where backers, if you send me a photo, if you back at a certain level, you send me a photo, I'll paint you here, and then I'll put your name there, and then you'll have your own unique cultist card in the game. So there'll be 1,500 copies of you floating around in the world among like people that buy the game. So anyway, that's Cult Crafter in a nutshell. Cult Crafter's coming. Thanks. I'm actually really digging the texture on her. I think I don't know, it's a little bit, I gotta do the transition areas a little bit more, like over here. Gotta soften some of this. Or just extend it up. It wasn't like everywhere. So rendering, like I said before, it's just back and forth. You're like, oh, I made it too dark. Make it light. Oh, it's too light. Make it a little bit darker. Too muted. I'll add a little bit of color to it. Like, yeah. And see, I feel like this is actually a great example of how to use okay, so the whole point of the reason I use stock photos is because, like, royalty-free stock photos, is because I don't have to worry about infringing on someone's rights, and I could literally just paint over the photo, and like, I'm well within my right to do that. But if you nope, I just have this one. If you don't use royalty-free stock photos and you try to use like someone else's photo, like, you can't do that. I mean, it's a violation of their copyright. So, but see, like, you would never look at this and be like, that obviously came from this. It's like, sure, it's the same like general placement of the eyes and like head, but like, everything is different. Hair color, no crown, monster face, different colored jacket, no flowers, like different colored background. Like, I'm doing so many different things with this that like no one is going to be like, oh, like, did you rip off that one thing? And it's gonna be like, nope. Whoop, that wasn't what I wanted to do at all. Just wanted to scumble in some different color background. Oh, cool. You're working on a tarot deck? That's legit. I think that might be my next big project, is like a tarot card deck. Or like, I do coaching for creatives, and so as part of my day job, and so I kind of want to do like a oracle type deck, but I want it to be inspiring, but I also want it to have monsters on it. So that's something I got to think about first. I don't know. Then maybe it'll be a Like, where's my stickers? Like, this is kind of one of my favorite stickers I've designed. Yeah, just go with the flow. You'll be fine. That could be one of the card decks. I just have to find something with a flow. Reach for the stars, baby. Maybe this would be the deck box for the. I wish. Why don't I have one of those around me? I really like these, and it's actually the creature, the text, and like the water that's splashing off the hand is all glow in the dark on the actual sticker. Woo, kombucha bird. All right, so we've added something texture to the front. B movies in the 90s. VHS cover. Yeah. Excellent. Let's see. I just kind of want to get this to a relatively finished point. I know it won't be like super finished. I also have to obviously enlarge this because it's too small. Just do some quick Gaussian blur work. I'll set it to multiply. Lower the opacity a little bit. How long has it been since you saved? It was relatively recent, Willow. Oh, High Priestess, that's true. She could be a High Priestess. I like it. Or the Queen of Tentacles. Maybe that would be the horror card, the tarot, like the different suits could be tentacles instead of pentacles, and then like I don't know, swords is pretty good, but maybe just blades instead. So blades, tentacles, maybe. Let's see, what, there's cups and wands. Maybe, what else would be good instead of wands? Spikes? Yeah, maybe spikes. Spikes feels too much like blades, but like, I don't know. Oh, skulls for cups? That's good. Yeah, so skulls, tentacles. Maybe claws and spikes. Spikes for wands, claws for blades, skulls for cups, tentacles for pentacles. Only I love that because it rhymes. I'm like, tentacles for pentacles. Anyway, I'll let you stare into her eyes and see how messily painted she is. Oh, I could fix that one bit on her over here. Ooh, sorry. Pentacles for tentacles. Okay, wait. So I think what I want to do is I actually want to soften this edge a lot. Because I want to feel like maybe it's like kind of turning over and not just like a sharp like thing that's cutting off the eye. But I do still have to give the eye enough clearance that it feels like it's its own cavity. It has its own like ocular socket, so. But that feels a little bit better. Alright. Yeah, demon fingers. The same eyes for getting Starbucks orders wrong. That's fair. Oh, yes. Come closer, supplicant. These tentacles are purely decorative. Bone-crushing beak-like maw. She's definitely got a beak-like maw. Although, like, yeah, tentacle lady. You know, I was not trying to make her look like... It's really the eyes, I think, that kind of give her, like... Give her some charm, you know? You know, to be honest, I'm glad I don't have to illustrate, like, the rest of her or something, because I really dislike when, like, guys make, like monsters, like male monsters, like, oh, they're like this bestial animal, and then when it's like the woman, it's like sexy but a monster, and I'm like, bro, like, that makes no fucking sense, man. Like, why? Just make them, if they're a monster, make them all monsters. But then I like gave this lady some luscious eyelashes and some nicely like nice eyebrows, and ugh. Just know that she's just like, I don't know, she has a squid body underneath this. Yeah, it's definitely all to draw on her prey for sure. All right. You know, I think like it. I don't know. It all kind of depends on what you practice drawing, and I think like it also depends. Like, you know, like I'm sure you could draw both genders, or in all genders. It's just like how traditionally presenting are you gonna make them? You know. Yeah, it's all about it's a proportion thing. Because I know someone who okay, look up Ruby Roth. I probably can't show her work on the thing because it's like they're all like she works with female nudes, but they are very geometric, and so you'd be like, women are curvy, and she's like, nope, women are super pointy, and check this out. But yeah, here I'm gonna type her name in, look her up, because if you think that you have to do curvy, there are options for you, my friend. And she doesn't make her women look unsexy, by the way, too. She definitely makes, like, pinup type nudes, but they're very geometric. So it's about knowing where to use hard edges and knowing where to use curves. So I definitely check them out. Check her out, Diviare. I'm gonna have to redraw this fucking crown, but I knew I was gonna have to do that. I don't know why I kept going with it. I should have done the hair first. So this is also brush choice. Makes a big difference too, people. Like, look how luscious this is looking because I just picked a brush that's made, it's designed to paint hair. But the key is back and forth, light then dark, then dark then light, then overlap some. I mean, you probably want to save the light for last, but just overlap that shiz and you'll be good. Because that's really what hair is, right? It's a bunch of individual strands that overlap each other and fly out. I don't know if it's a default hairbrush, but I buy brushes when I see fit. And I haven't bought a new brush in a very long time, but I've bought brushes. And I just have like my brush kit that I've been using for. And then I did, my wife got some brushes from another professional artist that she knows. Because they worked together on a project. And then she was like, check out this brush. I was like, oh shit, that one's a good one. So I got that one. But yeah, you can make hairbrushes too. It's just like a bunch of multiple dots, and then see. It used to be easier to see the brush tool sets. Oh, it is just tool presets. Oh, brush settings, I think. Oh yeah, so this brush is just like a bunch of little dots, and then put on an angle, a little bit of spacing, 1% spacing, shape dynamics. It has a minimum diameter, a bunch of jitters are off, transfer, flow on pen pressure, and then smoothing is on. And that is the hairbrush. But all right, fam, it is 10 o'clock. I've got some big decisions to make tonight. I got some emails to check to see if my quotes have come through. I've got cats to feed and play with. And then it's time for bed. So, oh shit. I gotta set up my studio for the All-Seeing Oracle, who might make an appearance tomorrow morning, bright and early, for Oracle stuff. I don't know why she wants to tell all the future at 10 a.m., but yeah. Drop it in the Discord. There's a art work in progress spot, and I'd love to see stuff. To be honest, I probably won't get to it till tomorrow, Deviare, but please drop it in. And yeah, thank you. Thanks for stopping by. And thank you, Willow. Hopefully you can make it, but if not, totally get it. Good luck with your smog stuff. And yeah, thank you again. I'm into this. Thank you for the suggestion for Queen Cthulhu of the Monster Castle, or whatever the theme was. And I'm gonna keep working on this, and we'll make it happen. Cthulhu Lady. Cool. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. Okay. Bye-bye. Peace out. Good night. GG. GN. Bye-bye.